Lin Yan, based in Brooklyn but deeply connected to her artistic heritage as the third generation in a distinguished line of Chinese artists, Lin creates works that embody the paradoxical nature of her medium. She transforms SHWEN paper and ink, materials used for centuries in Chinese painting and calligraphy, into powerful sculptural works that challenge perceptions of fragility and strength. Through processes of molding, casting, crumpling, and layering paper, Lin responds to both the industrial textures of her Brooklyn surroundings and architectural memories of her Beijing upbringing. Her work blurs boundaries between painting and sculpture, preservation and transformation, as it captures impressions of urban fragment. Lin has argued that her practice embodies traditional Chinese principles of balance, yin and yang, softness and strength, presence and absence, creating seemingly ephemeral works where viewers encounter the physical texture of memory.
Yeah, I am honored to be part of this vision, and thank you for inviting me to show work here. Um, yeah, I've been working with the paper for almost 20 years, but my background was trained as a realistic oil painter in school. I think after I came to the United States in '85, I was influenced by the minimalism. Yeah, so I really like the simple form of the art, but I found there's a connection between this minimal form of art with Chinese uh, philosophy, some art history, art theory, Chinese traditional art. It helped me to understand the Chinese art actually when I came to the United States. So I try to combine the two culture together in my work. I think it's this helped me to find myself actually. So I try to look what kind of material is really suit me, from oil to the different kind of material art here. Gradually, I found the paper, this material. Um, it's Chinese traditional materials for art, from painters and calligrapher. I didn't know that before, actually. I was not familiar with this material because I was into the oil pits. So, so after I found the paper, this material, I really excited. Yeah, because it's has so much potential. I pick up the paper just like a painter pick up the color. You see, so it's not something that I need to put a paint or on it or ink on it. I use it as a major art medium, so I don't need to use other paints or other material. I think paper itself can speak a lot. Yeah. Different from Chinese artists, they use the stamp paper to do the ink painting and calligraphy. The different paper, they have a different quality to observe water. So the ink painters, they choose what they like. They know exactly when the brush strokes the ink on the paper, the how ink spread out on the papers, and they know exactly what kind of paper suit their style. But I choose the paper from a different angle. I pay attention to color, the paper, texture and the thickness and how soft or hard of the paper. And then, although my style is more contemporary, but my tool to work with the paper is like a same tool that the people use that for mounting. So mounting the sculptural. Yeah, the brush for the people, the harsh shape of the brush to let air out of the paper while the car is shaken. So traditionally they use that material, use that method to painting, to mount paintings, to let painting look nice and very flat and no wrinkles. But I use it I like to make mistakes. I like to make the wrinkles. Or I crumple it, or I tear it. For me, that's not mistake or accident. I use that. So that's exciting for me. It's fun for me. So, that's how I work with paper. All the rules I broke. Rules. Yeah. Meaningless here is more logic, and sometimes they cut out the emotion part. Right? They pay attention to the forms, very pure. But for me, it's hard to do that. I think I always try to use art to express my feelings. And so I maybe at this point more Oriental, or maybe more Chinese at this part. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, that piece done in 2008, and think at that time it's I think it's a year President Obama was elected, and I just became the citizen, and I got first chance to vote, so I was pretty excited and pay attention to the election, watch the debate, leave the TV on all day long, and then work. As I work with the news. So I was, I think, inspired by his speech to, at that time, the difficult time that we make the America brick by brick, and so I did a series of American flag. That's the motive from the war. And then, but I use my own way to make it with the paper, language. Yeah, it's also the one of them. No, and make mold. Yeah, yeah. Actually, the wall originally is in China. It's my childhood house. Yeah, and then. There's only one small piece left because there are so many new buildings. So I found out there's still an old piece of wall behind the bushes. So I tried to clean up and then make a mold with the fiberglass. And then I shifted the mold to New York and then started to do the work. So that's not important because I did so many different kinds of work from the same mold. So yeah. Yeah, I like to push the boundaries and to break the limitation sometimes to get, for example, the materials is came from the East, but the subject maybe is more current than before. something happening here in the United States. And also it's like a painting, but the process is like making the sculpture. So everything is a mixed art. So I really enjoyed playing with the paper, so in the different ways, yeah. And yeah, I hope, of course, we I hope the world is the peace and different culture, we respect each other and we can live together harmony. Yeah. Actually, I got the material in New York. It's not a traditional glue. Yeah. Sometimes I use the resin.
Resin.
Yeah. So it looks like white. Looks like yeah. The ink is the white and the dry looks different. So sometimes I use wax, sometimes less resin. Yeah. Well, the work made of paper, so sometimes I like to use a acrylic glass to protect the work. But I try to let the plastic glass as a part of work.
See.
So I put I make the stars on the glass, and then I cast the shadows of the stars on the work. So it makes more on layers. Yeah. Well, I've been working for the large scale work quite a long time. And then after pandemic starts, I cannot go to the studio every day. So just to work at home. The space is small, but I enjoy to do the small work too. And every day I can do now. I'll do the same size of the work. It's like a guarantee. But one page or something page, but it's like painting. Yeah. Yeah, I always try to get some elements of architecture in my work because I really enjoy the different architecture, yeah, especially that the old houses that I lived in or some places that I lived in before. So I try to get the memories of the life, the architecture. So I like to collect things like these tarp or bricks. Sometimes I use them in my work. Yeah. The bricks I pick up in the Brooklyn. So sometimes some bricks has a English word about it, and so I found it interesting. One of the is I bought online because there's a club called I think a bricks association, something like that. People like to buy different kind of bricks and then exchange. So I found one of them I like has a tray actually. So it's just got it. Yeah, and in the that makes it period almost. Or sometimes I use that word as stick itself. Yeah, in the 90s, I think I got really shocked when the things like when I went back to China after 9 years living here, everything was changed over there. I don't mind to be, I mean, the city called organized. But they destroy the beauty of the tradition. I think in the traditional house or architecture, there really is something contemporary elements in it. And people didn't understand at that time. So I try to use the elements from the traditional architecture in my contemporary art form. So it's not a conflict. I don't think it's to be modernized, we have to destroy tradition. We can be inspired by tradition to be contemporary. So paper actually looks fragile, looks delicate, but it really lasts long, lasts 1,000 years. So it can be very strong. I can use that to build sculpture, use that to do the installation. And also, although it's teared up, although it's damaged, I can repair it, and it looks more interesting too. So it's a negative, positive with the old. There's no certain clear line. Well, this is my first time to be in this museum, and I'm very impressed by the whole atmosphere and the collection. And I think the display is wonderful. I really happy to be here. Yeah, hope to have more chance to show here too.